So if you've been in the Roblox community for the past couple of years, you definitely know who KonekoKitten is, a very controversial ex-YouTuber. And today, I just kind of want to explore some of his history and where he's at today. So to start, I know this topic has been done a million times. Everybody already knows the whole story and everything, but I wanted to give a little brief history check on what he's done and what he's been up to nowadays. So if you don't know who KonekoKitten is, he is an old Roblox content creator who used to do like commentary videos where he would just play games and then talk about like Roblox drama. One of the biggest criticisms on him was that he was overly negative to people and that his videos would honestly cause more issues than they would help. And I actually remember back in the day watching some of his videos and he was just very negative. And I know it sounds like I'm being negative about him being negative, but you know what I mean? Honestly, a lot of people would claim that his videos would end up garnering a bunch of hate towards the people he was talking about, yet he would constantly discourage the harassment of people. So I guess that's something that's not necessarily his fault. I guess it's kind of his fans, I guess, but also I can't lie, I've seen firsthand him being very negative about people. People also claim that he would not do a lot of research on the things he was talking about, so he would kind of just openly talk about things without knowing a ton about it. But on the other side of that, people would say he was the biggest voice for people who had concerns about the Roblox moderation team and other situations he would cover. He would also go through a ton of different breaks and claim he was very terminally online, and he would explain that he had taken self-improvement journeys and such. I actually do want to give credit to this YouTuber Shinzu. He did a really good video on the whole entire history, so if you want a super in-depth video on this, definitely go check out this video, it's down below. But really what I want to focus on today is really where all the drama started with him. There's many different things he got himself into, but I'd say from my knowledge, really the start was when he made a call out to another Roblox creator named Narpie, who I guess he had like a relationship with on Discord. Yeah, I guess they had like a really sexual relationship, and the Roblox YouTuber Narpie was underage at the time. I think they were 17, while KonekoKitten, to my knowledge, was 20 years old. But I guess there were starting to be rumors in the community that them two had a relationship going on, and so KonekoKitten just randomly comes out on Twitter and makes a whole super long document about how he was manipulated and how it was a one-side relationship and how Narpie was the reason they were doing sexual things and blah blah blah. And really, to me, it just seems like he was trying to cover his ass before he got any bite back from the community. I guess he felt if he came out first and made the first claim that that would be the claim that people think is true. And also another thing I just found out, I don't know how true this is, but he also claimed that Narpie threatened self-harm to keep him in the relationship, and he claimed that he tried to end the relationship on multiple occasions and did not reciprocate any of those sexual feelings that Narpie had. And initially, people actually believed him. They felt bad for him and they took his side and essentially completely tanked Narpie's career. This happened a couple years ago. Also, sorry, I'd like to rephrase. Narpie was actually a Minecraft creator first. But anyways, essentially after the document that KonekoKitten released, it completely tanked Narpie's career and they took like a break from doing content creation. Eventually, they came back out and did this video, My Side of Everything. It's pretty much 24 minutes of him just proving KonekoKitten wrong. I recommend you guys go watch this video if you're interested in this whole history. I don't really want to show any clips or messages that they bring up because they are pretty gross in my opinion, especially for Discord too. I think that was a little weird in my opinion, but that's just me. They just completely debunk all of KonekoKitten's claims. They also mentioned how the relationship was very mutual, unlike Koneko had said. He said it was very singular and one-sided. They also bring up this relationship. I don't know as much about this specifically, but supposedly KonekoKitten had a relationship with an underage person. I don't know as much about that. They didn't really bring it up too much. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I guess that later caused some drama. But later on, KonekoKitten ended up dropping 2 different videos. He dropped a response at first that was completely uncut, then deleted that, and then dropped another video that was cut and cut out a part where he was talking about that relationship he had with that other person. I think their name was Naku or something. A pretty weird situation overall. But yeah, essentially the video that Narpie dropped, they provided a bunch of proof to debunk KonekoKitten's claims and essentially completely flipping the narrative on him. In the video that KonekoKitten dropped, he continued to downplay some of the things she was doing, but still also own up to things, which I find interesting because he would own up to things, but then he would immediately go backhanded on what he just said and say, well, I did this thing that was wrong, but it actually wasn't that wrong because of this. He claimed that his relationship with the underage person Naku was not whatsoever and that he's actually a, but then later claimed that he was actually not a and a thing called gray, which I guess means like you sometimes are sexual attracted to somebody. I don't really know how that works, but he would admit his wrongdoings and then completely lip on them and say, well, it actually wasn't that bad. He would also call out Narpie for even mentioning that situation to begin with. I guess Naku didn't like that Narpie had mentioned them and they felt like it was harassment to some degree. And then Koneko essentially calls out Narpie for calling out him for calling out Nak. I think it gets pretty complicated. Like I said, definitely go watch Shinzu's video if you want a full, super detailed rundown on everything. I'm just kind of giving a brief history of everything. Yeah, he released the first video uncut and then deleted that and then re-released it, but cut out a part where he was talking about that situation. A few hours later, he deleted the new version of the apology. It wasn't even really an apology. It was just more of like oh, I didn't do anything wrong and you're actually the bad guy, but also I kind of did something wrong and maybe I'm the bad guy. I also saw screenshots of what he talked about on his post page on his channel. He explained that he severely downplayed the whole situation and felt that he was in the wrong completely, and also claimed that he didn't know why he was like that and he was going to take a long extended break. I think the only reason he did that was because he expected his initial apology to get people on his side, and then when it ended up backfiring on him, he just completely backpedaled even more. In the video, he claimed he found God and became healthier and became less of a degenerate. That's actually something he mentioned a lot in video, that he was a degenerate and that he's no longer a degenerate. Yeah, I think the video he made where he said he wasn't a degenerate made him even more of a degenerate. So he also talked about how he would take a long, indefinite hiatus from his main channel and stick to strictly his second channel, which I guess that ended up backfiring, and in late 2023 he ended up deleting both of the channels. There's also a video on that second channel. I'll try to find a screenshot of it, but it was essentially him picking up trash. I could be wrong on this, but to me, in his response video, it felt like he was claiming that he was a better person because he was picking up trash. I definitely am downplaying that in and of itself, but that's what a lot of the claims he made sounded like. He was like, oh yeah, I'm no longer a degenerate because I'm doing these better things and everything, and cool, if he actually was, that's great for him. But to me, him even having to make that claim and not showing like definitive work on himself just kind of proves to me that he didn't really work on himself and he just wanted to cover his ass even more. And since then, he's kind of become a laughingstock of the community. I know a lot of big content creators have always kind of made fun of him, and to be fair, he kind of deserves it. Actually, no, he definitely deserves it. But a lot of people will make the argument that the stuff he was doing actually wasn't illegal because, oh, it wasn't or the Romeo and Juliet laws. But either way you look at it, I think anybody can realize that it was pretty weird of him to be doing the things he was doing, especially at such a grown age at 20. To me, it just seemed like he was severely immature, because unfortunately in this community of Roblox, there's been a lot of people who have exposed for doing a lot of creepy things, especially on Discord too. I feel like that's a running thing. And it's just kind of sad because there's a lot of really, really cool things in this community, and these type of situations just blow way up and end up taking the face for the community. A lot of people in this community you can just look at and tell they don't wear deodorant, they stankin' up the room, they never go outside, and Koneko's one of them. I try to do some research on what he's up to nowadays, but there's honestly been no update to where he is. Last thing I could find is that he's doing day trading and investing nowadays, and that's how he's keeping afloat. He really hasn't shown his face online at all since 2023, which I think is good. I think it's good for the platform, it's good for the community, and I think it's good for him. And this may sound harsh, but to be completely honest, I don't think anybody is awaiting his return. I think ever since he started in general, he was always just a negative face in the community, and I know that can sound hypocritical because I'm being negative right now, but I think the stuff he's done warrants that criticism. In general, he's just been a creepy guy and always just downplayed his mistakes. And I just hope the people who are affected by it can get the help they need and get the support they deserve, and the actual disgusting people involved in things like this can receive the consequences they deserve, but also the help they need. Again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this damn. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I felt like it would be somewhat insightful to touch on this topic real quick. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everybody.